Nice to see you, Juergen, again. It's not been long, even if time passes, and now we have this beautiful spring over here. And we love. Hi. So I want you all to meet my wonderful colleague, Dr. Dhaliwal Jagjit from Brunei.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
And we will learn from his wisdom. So please, Dr. Jagjit, if you can share your words about what do you think would be the future with the AI for the medical system.
Yes, thank you, Dana. Basically, I'm working on a project with AI for oral cancer application to build an application for oral cancer patients, wherein patients will click a picture of their lesion and they will upload it on the application, and then they will get an answer whether this lesion is malignant or benign or precancerous. So this is the project that we are currently working on. So maybe I can share my screen to show you what we are doing.
Is the fifth button to the right, down?
Yes. So can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, the oral health AI, in this, we will upload the image. We will ask the patient to upload the image of their mouth. And then, so if the user output shows that the probability of the cancer is low, then the patient is relaxed. If the applications, the original image is cancerous, then the patient will get an alarm. And if it is marked in red, and then obviously they will be consulting the dentist or the oral cancer specialist, and then they will make the final decision. But if the probability of the cancer is high, then this can be, the patient can be alarmed regarding this. And so this is what we are planning to do. And this because basically we have a national health coverage in Brunei. And after COVID-19, during COVID-19, we started having the application called Brew Health. So Brew Health application will have another component called, AI for cancer, cancer detection. And so this is what we are planning. And this will reduce a lot of, burden on the doctors and the dentists and the cancer specialists, because the patients can try to diagnose on their own and then consult the dentist or the doctor for final diagnosis. So this is what we are doing currently.
Wow! How did you invent this application?
Yes, so we are in the process of actually inventing. We have not yet completed, but yes, we are in the process of completing the application. And we've got lots of images for training the model from ENT surgeons in India, in Ahmedabad. And yeah, so there's a big database already available, which we are going to use. And we are also going to, add more databases if available.
How does it work, How does it work? It takes a photo of the region and then comparing.
So the patient will click a picture and upload on the application, and then the application will decide whether this is towards the malignant side or towards the benign side.
By completing with the database of other oral cancer.
Yes, yes, by comparing it from the database.
Does it detect also precancerous lesions?
Yes, that's correct.
That is so good. You know, we just did in the state of Kerala, when I was there with the Lions Club, we started oral cancer screening for the state of Kerala.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when I went to Ahmedabad 2 weeks ago, we started there too. So it's fantastic that we can give, you know, the knowledge to those to this charity organization, for example, and they will run it into a mass of people or just people at home. But some people, they don't have a smartphone to detect.
Yes, but these days, most of the people do have, like in Brunei especially, because the Brew Health application is a must after COVID, for everyone. So for the application, so to scan wherever you go, so you need to have that application on your phone. If not on your phone, you can take somebody else's phone, and if you want to, if you're worried about the lesion in your mouth, and then and you're in a remote area, you have limited mobility, limited means of transportation, and so it's going to be wonderful for the patients, because everyone here has to have Brew Health application on their phone, and all their data is available, like their test reports are available, their x-rays are available on demand, and things like that.
That's very civilized. For everybody who doesn't know, Dr. Jagjit, can you tell us where are the places where oral cancer can be detected in the mouth?
Yes,
Just
the oral cancer can be on the oral mucosa, buccal mucosa, on the inside of the mouth, on the tongue. It can be on the side of the tongue. It can be on the soft palate. It can be on the lip, So in the vestibule, on the gingiva, at the back of the mouth. So all these areas, can be easily clicked by the patient with the help of a phone camera.
Is that application expensive?
No, it will be free for the patients, actually. It will be free for the patients, at least in Brunei. So the rest we will see, like if we need to, patent it, and if we want to sell it. So for the time being, because we are doing it as a research project with the university, and we are going to do it as a free service.
We keep all this conference, we keep talking about applications that would save life, like Dr. Florence talked about sickle cell patients, and how with an application you can detect the sickle cell, on the blood with a microscope. So more and more those applications really save life. That is AI for you.
Yes.
And will become absolutely, completely integrated in our life, especially in medicine.
Yes, and it will also reduce burden on the already overburdened practitioners, dental practitioners, medical practitioners, especially where the state health system is working. There's a big waiting list queue of patients, so it's wonderful for places like where you have free healthcare system.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and even for places where you have insurance based healthcare system, there also I think you're saved a lot of dollars, isn't it? So
Yes, save lives.
save lives as well as, so save lives definitely, because also, but initially, like for the patients to because this can be a hindrance. The money part can be a hindrance for the patient to seek help.
Oh, actually, they did a statistic somewhere where there are two systems, the private expensive system and the free system. And the statistic was that there is absolutely no difference in the standard of care if the patient pays or if the patient gets free.
Okay, yes.
The standard of treatment is the same.
Right.
Yeah. So that might be something to discuss again. Now, please, Dr. Jagjit, meet our other panelist, Dr. Watson.
Hello.
Remember Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson? That's him. You need a
Okay.
statistic. He's the guy. He's the man. He's the statistic man. Then our genius Tony, who just talked about how he been creating about 80 apps recently. And then we got Dr. Tushabi, who invented the app for sickle cell from Uganda, who's actually got her PhD from Holland. From Holland.
Yeah, same university as me.
Yes, yes. So I can see I can see how advanced that university is by the great quality of research coming out of it. And then please meet Juergen. Dr. Weichenberger.
Hello.
Can you please
Pleasure.
present yourself? Can you please tell us what is your work, Juergen?
So my work has changed since we spoke the last time. So I'm newly responsible for Schneider Electric's AI strategy and innovation. So literally all the novel new approaches we're developing for our customers. And we're having a strong push at the moment on generative solutions. I'm not saying it's just ChatGPT. We're looking at this in a much wider sense, how we can use, for example, large vision models to increase classification rates. So meaning detecting deficiencies and deviations, which we haven't seen before. So you can imagine we're working currently on PCR, how we can speed up the analysis of PCR results, finding genetic deviations quicker, and also finding deviations we haven't seen before. And this is one of the hard research areas we're working on at the moment. But we're also looking into some more normal stuff around optimization and classification. But yeah, it's a very interesting time. We have a new toy to play with, and we now try to find out how we get this new toy stable, because that is one of the biggest challenges we have specifically in pharmaceutical and medical applications is the hallucinations. The FDA hates it, and we try to find ways around this, for example, with sorts of forms of self-learning and self-correcting methods. And images is really well working for us here. So that's why it keeps us busy.
You know, Dr. Dhaliwal mentioned before that would be wonderful if we can make a meeting in person so we can really meet, because all those amazing lecturers we have, like we were suggesting together, maybe we can make a meeting at the United Nations in October or next year. That would be really nice here in New York, so we get as much audience coming. Dr. Dhaliwal, Professor, would you like to say a few words? For him, it's very late because he's not in Europe and he have to go to his family. It's 8:30 in the evening. Would you like to say a few words of wisdom before going to your program? Dr. Jagjit.
Yes. So yeah, so I think that's a very good idea to meet in person and deliberate on all our findings and expertise. And so it can very well be organized in Southeast Asia somewhere, maybe Singapore or even New York is a good venue. Sorry? Bangkok, yeah, Bangkok. Southeast Asia is a very good venue. Yeah. So somewhere, in this area. And so I think it will be a very good idea, Professor York, to organize one in-person conference, and we should have more attendance with this kind of expertise that we have available. And it's a good bunch of people, and I think this can be used as a platform to start talking within ourselves. And maybe we should make a WhatsApp group that I would suggest, and then we can gather a lot of people for our influence to attend the conference.
Yes, I think it's a brilliant idea. We will have to meet finally in person, Kiran. And there you go. We announce our next conference, 15-16 of November in Bangkok.
Already, great. Thank you.
So Bangkok is my favorite place in the whole wide world. I think it got healing powers. And I think everybody agree is the place to go. If it is, if it's not New York, let's make it in Bangkok.
Yes, and then we make a bigger group probably, in New York then.
Yes,
To
yes.
start with, maybe we can start from Bangkok. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Bangkok and New York. And thank you so much. It's been wonderful, and thank you for waiting. I know your family is waiting for you. It's late. It's 8:30.
No, it's all right. That's fine. I'm okay. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Any word of wisdom about oral cancer before we pass to Juergen's lecture?
I think, yeah, it's just that I wanted to, bring it to the fore that, this can be a good way of using artificial intelligence for the humanity, and also, to detect, oral cancer in the beginning, so that it can really help the patients and save a lot of, lives and time as well as money for everyone. And for the governments, it can be a good selling point as well.
Excellent. So we'll have all the
Okay.
panel together. Oh, Dr. Dhaliwal, before you leave, please listen 1 second about the detection also in an app of sickle cell by Dr. Florence.
Yes, yes. No, I will be here for the whole panel. Don't worry, please. Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Dr. Florence, can you please tell us again the definition of your work in the app?
Okay. Yes, I'm Dr. Florence Tushabe, and my app is on sickle cell detection, very similar to the oral cancer one, that you submit an image and then you click on process, and then it gives you whether it has seen the sickle cells or not. That is generally what it does. Exactly the same thing as Singh, as Dr. Singh, but just that it's for the sickle cell disease here. And as I said earlier, so far we have a 95% success or accuracy rate, and which is very promising, and we're excited about these results. And we use machine learning. The best model or the best classifier for us has been the decision trees, which we were surprised by, because we probably thought that maybe other classifiers. But anyway, the decision trees is one which came up the best and the most accurate, followed by the nearest neighbor. So for the ones who are in computer science, you understand what I'm saying. But for the others, you probably are just hearing gibberish. But just know that it is very simple classifier in machine learning. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Florence. Now we will go to Dr. Watson. Dr. Watson, if you can please talk about your research. He got an idea about these diabetes tracking devices that will be monitoring, and they are already there. And what happened, the tracking device feel the sugar level and also release a medication.
Actually, yeah, it's already implemented. You actually have now you don't have to be taking insulin via injections. You have a patch that's recorded and it actually monitors your glucose, your insulin levels basically. And if there is an event that you actually go into a diabetic shock, it actually alerts the authorities. So that's actually implemented, but it's not full up. Yeah, it looks like very much looks like that. Basically, it's in mostly developed nations, but because type 2 diabetes and type 1 diabetes is quite, well, they're both concerns. It's a movement forward into basically providing healthcare, because people with diabetes tend to have other complications, so hypertension, diabetes, and you tend to find this a lot more, because one of the studies I've done was in low-income houses. So people that they know their salaries are not on the higher end. They do suffer more in terms of lack of knowledge, in terms of being able to have access to good medical care. So generally, that's an issue that we have. But it's the way we found.
Low-income houses were in United Kingdom or in Portugal?
No, that was actually in Trinidad and Tobago.
Ah.
That's originally where I'm from.
Ah.
I'm
So
originally from Trinidad and Tobago.
lovely, lovely. Tony, what have you been up to lately? Put the microphone. Take away the mute button, please. So we must say for Tony, what an effort he did today. He rented an office space because the internet in his headquarters, they were slow. It was an internet malfunction, and he actually went for this very panel and rented a whole office.
Yeah, 6 places. I'm on my own.
Oh, thank you.
No worries. It's a pleasure. Anyway, so well, I mean, what I'm trying to do, and I think that's a bit the contribution of today, is that the topic is about charting new territories and navigating the landscape of artificial intelligence. And I really appreciate everything which has been said until now. And what I'm actually navigating after having left your university world and the big company world, I'm actually navigating online. So that means that I'm trying to see what's going on outside the the universities and the companies and the foresters and the gardeners of this world. And I must admit that it's a kind of limitless world, yeah. And so my mission is to help as many people as possible online, but in the world actually, to make a living and to get out of their poverty or out of their financial trouble or physical problems, in any kind of country in the world. And I must admit that I'm rather positive, yeah. I think that a lot of the concerns that were mentioned today, also the previous speaker before this panel, yeah, for me it's it's not something that I recognize which is going on outside, yeah, because for me things like regulations and business models and that kind of stuff, what I see online now, actually already since 2001, but especially after 2022. That a lot of people that actually don't have any money, yeah, including in Africa, by the way, because in some of the countries they've got high-speed internet and are better educated than we are, is that it gives a lot of opportunities for people to actually make a living, yeah. So that's the world I'm looking at, and I see a huge urge of innovation by all these people working together online, in all these different countries and that kind of things. So I'm rather positive on the one side. On the other side, I'm also more realistic in terms of, people talking about, for instance, bias in AI. To be honest, I'm a bit blunt. I mean, if we're talking about bias, most of the things I see on television or here on the radio or in the newspaper is not true. Yeah. So I think that that there's too much emphasis in AI on bias, because it's like in every IT software tool. I mean, if you put rubbish in, you get rubbish out. Yeah. And I think I'm very much for opportunities of people, and I think that that's why we call it the democratization of AI. Is that because what happened in 2022 and even every day, you know, people are able to get access to all kind of productive technology and art and that kind of stuff that previously could only be used by people working in big companies. Yeah. And so I think for me, it's more like, let's be realistic, you know, let's not be too scared. And on the other hand, you know, this is the World Wide Web. Yeah. So how do you want to regulate things? Yeah. You know that, Dana, from my history, and Francisco also, is that I started to work in internet around 2000, just after 9/11. Yeah. And we had to implement the Patriot Acts all over the world. And you know, we just didn't find anything, because you can't regulate the internet. Yeah. So I think that we should be positive, but we should also be, you know, be realistic. Yeah. Is that, in my personal opinion, you know, things like regulation online is not just something that is possible. Yeah. Yeah. How do you want to regulate the internet? How do you want to regulate, you know, the dark web or even Telegram? So I think it's all up to us humans, which is, are we going to use technology for the good or for the bad? And that's a personal choice. Yeah. So also, because of tomorrow, what I would like to do is say, okay, well, you've got, you know, our world of, you know, of us at universities and business schools and big companies, but the world outside is much bigger. Yeah. And let's try to combine the two. I mean, we're meeting now for the second time in conferences, yeah, which is great. I mean, we would have never met each other otherwise. Yeah, I mean, I used to go to all the conferences physically in every country. I mean, I'm not doing that now. Why? Because point one, you know, I have to pay it myself, and point two, you know, I can work much quicker with, you know, with people all over the world. Yeah. So I think we should be open and, you know, and not be too scared. And at the same time, cybercrime, like you were discussing, and is an issue. I mean, we're talking a lot about cybercrime and cybersecurity. My sites for the time being are attacked 200, 300, 500, 600 times a day by bots. And most of the time, actually, I'm attacked by Russians. And that has to do with the fact that I'm pronouncing myself for a specific side in this war, which is democracy. Yeah. So I think that there should be a lot of much more interest in cybersecurity for small and medium-sized companies. Yeah. For normal people, you know, for people in Africa, in Latin America, in the Netherlands, the millions of people with web shops. My wife is a judge, and she has no protection on her mobile phone. Yeah. So to finalize that a bit, you know, I don't want to take up too much time. You know, I think that I would suggest everybody, you know, to get out of our online comfort zone and, you know, navigate in the world. I like Dana. I like your pictures. I love it. I went to a number of these countries. You know, let's connect. You know, let's treat each other as humans. And, you know, and try to see what we can do together. Yeah. And at the same time, we can be creative. I can be productive. Last example I'm going to take, I'm a management consultant. I use a lot of AI to be much more cheap and much more fast and much more giving better advice to all my customers than I used to do before in a big management consulting company. Yeah. So, yeah, let's give the advantages to each other and to all the people around us. Yeah. And then the last thing I think we really need new models, yeah, which has to do with how do we cope with this fast changing world, you know, how do we cope as a human being with all this insecurity and that kind of stuff, and that's a bit what I've got in my mind.
Wonderful, Tony, wonderful. I want to share with you for the very first time I discovered traveling now to around the world, Congo, India, Romania, Monaco. So I did 2 trips like that. And then I discovered the AirTag is really important, a tracking device. Then I was thinking, oh, look at that. Yes, I was thinking if we make a dental AirTag.
And then what happens?
Then if you get kidnapped, and they take your clothes off, they're not gonna take your teeth off. And then you get the tracking device. So now we are testing about the AirTag. There you go. So what I really hope with all this lovely team, let's create, you know, a smaller tracking device with an app, with this and that. I have it with the Apple phone. I have it as tracking number 1, and then I got another one and another one. So then, yes, that's my new passion, the little dental tracking device.
Anyway, but so what would I know a guy in the Netherlands who had who has a microchip under his skin, you know, so he can be followed everywhere.
Yes, good, but that's can be in a tooth, for example. If you have a bridge, you can even place a video camera. You know, if you have teeth missing, you can have a recording device, a video camera, and a tracking device.
Would that mean that my wife can see everywhere where I am or not?
Especially
I don't know if I want that. I'm just joking anyway. So no, but I'm curious. I really have to laugh because you know, all this kind of stuff I think is really interesting. But on the other hand, now I'm living in the Netherlands, and this country is very much like, you know, leave me alone. Yeah. So you don't have a lot of cameras. You know, you're not allowed to do whatever.
I love cameras. I live in New York. I love cameras. Let them be to keep us safe. Dr. Francesco, what do you think?
There is a lot of thinking, but the time is few. So first of all, you can put something on your tooth, but you need an iPhone to also to communicate, because as you know, AirTag does not working without any iPhone. Yes. So the people that has been kidnapped and has to bring also an iPhone with her that probably can be stolen, or probably other people need to have an iPhone, because it's not enough an AirTag to be tracked. So you need a GSM devices and also a device that is able to transmit and some receiver able to receive, even if you put a person in a cavern or in a hole where there is no connection. So even if you cannot track air, but let's about the strange usage of AirTag, because I have on my key, and also because I lost all the time the key. Since I have this AirTag, it's 2 years now. I never lost my key somewhere else, because if I be far from my key, the phone advert me with the signal. So going back to the discussion that we had, and what also Tony said before, I think that we have not to be scared about the bias, because as he said, there is a lot of bias that we had in the past on usage of everything, and also internet. As no regulator, as not boss, as not papa, there is nobody that can control internet, even if there is some other dark internet, the dark web there, where you can buy and sell, unfortunately, everything, and you can also have a currency like Bitcoin to pay them harm, organs, and any bad stuff. What I'm saying that in the past, internet was just for technician. I think late 60s, 80s, 90s, when internet became common, and there are a lot of people that went to internet to say everything they have in mind. And the same with mobile, with Facebook, social network. Everybody is able to to say everything and find a good answer to a question, or a site that has a good reputation is going very, very hard and hard, because even if newspaper, I have also some subscription with New York Times, BBC, and The Economist, Italian newspaper. Everything is digital, but when I have a news, I have the same news on all newspaper in a couple of minutes, because they take a news, translate from English to Italian or Italian to English, and then resend the news. It's very difficult to find which is the first source and which could be someone that adds something in the source. When I say to the bias that everybody is legitimate to use the technology as they want, but if you go to sanitary decision or personal decision, so when I go to my branch in the bank, I ask for a loan, for a mortgage, and they don't decide looking at you, looking at the family, but just put your fiscal number or UID number in a system, and the system start to make some calculation, blah, 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 blah. You don't know about what, you don't know about why, you don't know anything. Also, the branch officer and branch director, they don't know nothing, because they say, I put this number in the computer, and the computer say no or say yes. So it's important to understand which is the rule that some human put in self. And if you're able to control the rule, you can trust the system. But if the rules coming from some already done engines, this morning Dana said a lot of names like TensorFlow. There is this people that it's an engine where you can put, for instance, cars, and it recognize if in a car or is not in a car, if it's a fruit. But also there is some engine that is already trained for the people, and say, if you are unemployed, if you are in an age between 15 or 30, you have some risk, and et cetera, et cetera. But I think that this system has been already used. I was in a financial sector when we make some credit scoring, and also blacklist, or let me say, for people that cannot have a mortgage, because probably they are too young, or they are without any work, or they have not a degree in some university. So the allow list, the forbidden list, is not compounded by enough human brain on it. So this is dangerous. It's not dangerous to use technology. We don't need to be scared about technology. I work in technology for almost 30 years, and people were scared on internet, was scared on computer, was scared in mobile communication, about radiation, losing job, and blah blah blah. I think that the people is not scared about losing the job because AI. Respect of the people that was scared about losing job because of computer, and probably people already decided that they are losing the job in any case, and probably they are not so scary anymore when they were scared in let me see, late 90s. But I think that the usage of technology need to be attentionate. Not want to say regulate, because regulate implies government or some consortium, but in our specific daily work in financial services, in health services, national health, where we need to define if we need to give something to one, yes or no. This decision need to be human. Don't need to be only AI, because it's dangerous. This is my ball rock in the lake, let me say. It's my food for tough. So that's
Francisco, can I ask you a question?
Yes, why not?
No, because you were triggering me as usual. Is that I remember that when after 9/11, we started to implement transaction monitoring systems within the global financial services that you probably know. Yeah. I mean, we actually had a lot of trouble because the blacklists of the Americans were very different from the ones in Europe, and very much different from the ones in the Netherlands. And so we had a huge amount of problems with false hits, because, for instance, in the old ones of the United States, there were a lot of companies, like even everybody who was leftish or even medical guys, Sans Frontières and all kind of things. And everybody who was called Bin Laden, was also hit. Yeah. Now, so this is not a joke, but I just wanted to give you an example and share, and think together with you is that, Bin Laden, his brother, was a huge, building company in the Middle East. And all these people that had the same name were coming out and actually are still coming out. Yeah. And that was AI right from the start. So I'm curious about how you think we can, can mitigate that kind of risk.
I can let you know globally what this thing happened, unfortunately, because when you have something that is national or let me say in a continent, like for instance the payment, we have in Europe, we have SEPA, we have payment institution, and you can change money between and have a mortgage also between country easily, apart from Switzerland, but or Liechtenstein, but for other reason. When you go globally, the credit card company, Visa, Amex, or Diners that have all this banks together, they work it also in US, and they have some parameters that is US. US has a lot of embargoes, has a lot of rule to be allowable for a credit or not. This is not compliant with Europe. There is a lot of problem that I had when we started to make mobile payment, for instance, because also bank in America is quite different from Europe. But this is not the right conference. But just to say in short that the idea for a good people in US, it's very different from a good people in Europe. That's why, and that's in simple, in short. Sorry,
and it's all AI biased. It's all AI based. So yeah, okay.
But because that's the point. Because AI is in Seattle, is in West Coast of the America. That is quite different from East. That they have WASP in East, but in other place, Dana know very well what WASP means. WASP, and this is a very, very, very good man, but there is also other. sorry everybody for take a long time.
What I noticed when I went to my trip, Congo, my credit score went down. Yeah. And when I came back to United States, my credit score went up, and I didn't change anything. Did not the financials did not change, but it was something. It was something. Also, somehow, I got an app that said that I got into a Toyota, but I don't own a Toyota. But it's true, I'm going inside the Toyota sometime. How on earth the apps knew that I would get in a Toyota? I don't own it. Who knows? I'm getting a Toyota.
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to inform that there are 10 minutes left in this session.
Juergen is on.
Now, thank you so much, the panelists, for your wonderful contribution. And can't wait to see you again and give you a big hug in person. And let's hope that will happen very, very soon. Let's collaborate. Let's write research together, write articles together, apply for grants together, do something interesting and useful for the world together. And we will pass on to finish the panel discussion for today. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And take care to everybody.